Can state workers, are they retiring too early?
I'm not prepared to say that at this point in terms of who's retiring too early and not too early. I know because when you state workers versus police and fire and whatnot, you mean, I think there may be a comment about you may not retire too early, but you collect too early.
Okay.
That may be another question we need to look at in terms of if you're eligible to retire because you came in very young, and so you retire at 45 years old and you go get another job, but you start collecting your benefits soon thereafter. Should there be something that says you can't collect, you can retire, but you can't collect until some sort of minimum age? That's a discussion I'd like to have. So I would rather have it framed around there, are people collecting too early rather than do they retire too early?
What do you think of the idea of re-amortizing our unfunded pension liability? So some people call it re-amortizing, and some other people call it kicking the can down the road.
It's all a perception. Don't you love democracy? That's why you have to love it. Ultimately, that's why when people, I embrace democracy. I believe it's a beautiful, if inefficient form of government, and everyone gets to have their say. I think it's wonderful. So that's exactly, I love the way you I think, not that I want to kick the can down the road, but I think reorganization is a viable tool, but I don't think it should be your only tool. I think that, and some people would call it smoothing, there's all these other firms, it gets very technical. I think it has been used, it can be viable, and just so you don't have spikes of, and that's where sometimes this pension unfunded liability number gets to be a little squirrely, because any factor can change it, elevate it, decrease it. So I've always said that re-amortization, I've always kept it on the table as a viable tool, because I think it is, but it has to not be used to mask or cover up inherent structural problems with your pension system, like are people collecting too soon, those type of things. So I think if you go through all those discussions, you make some real tough choices in terms of how do we have a viable pension system that is sensible and provides for what retirement payments are supposed to be, a percentage of income to live off of, not to get rich off of when you're retired. So we don't have, because we long ago decided we weren't going to be a society having old people otherwise sleeping on heating grates outside, that I think it's important that they are, but they're not to get rich on. So as I said, I think I was told before, saying maybe you get the Chevrolet, not the Cadillac. Yeah, I think they're viable. I think in order to keep a system healthy, re-amortization could be a part of that, but it's got to come at the end, not at the beginning. And so if you make all those tough decisions, and then because of budgetary or other needs, you re-amortize it, I think it's viable, but it can't be to placate or kick the can down the road, so you don't want to make the tough decisions. Absolutely. Can't happen.